Warning, the following video has flashing lights and also includes content that may be deemed inappropriate for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. My creatures of the night, this is excellent to see you venturing into the darkness of the fox den to awaken me from my slumber as we again head up to the northeast, my stomping grounds, Maine. Absolutely delicious. I do appreciate you replenishing me, my ghouls. Yet hurry up and release me from my silver chain and shackles so that we can tend to these contracts I really do need to collect. My creatures of the night, once again, of course, you have found yourself in the fox den, hanging out with LordeStarfox on Midnight Lycanthropy. I do hope everyone's early hours of the morning are going quite well. Now that we have figured out Maine is a hotspot for Dogman activity, well, as promised, I do have two more cases for you tonight that we are going to be diving into, especially now that it's the spooky season. Yet, let's be real, where I'm from, every day is Halloween. 1988, Allagash Waterway. Yes, we have a group of friends during the dusk time setting up their campsite for the evening. As everyone is talking, smiling, and setting up their camp, suddenly one of the individuals points out that there is a strange 6 to 8 foot tall, bipedal, jet black, werewolf looking creature standing only about 30 yards away, casually observing them. Once realizing these humans had caught wind of its existence, this strange werewolf like creature slowly but casually turns around and walks off into the darkness. This is an area that has a lot of forest. In general, Maine is completely forested, okay? Yet Allagash is, well, pretty remote, and it's near some parks as well as some animal reservoirs. Very interesting stuff. Doesn't surprise me that someone would see something that they couldn't put their eyes to up in Allagash. Straight up gnarly stuff. That is what we would say camp nightmare fuel, right? Make sure you're checking out my sister podcast with, of course, Barb Hartman and Mr. Barber If you like to hear about true crime, creepy history, anything that is outside of what I cover here, yes. A quick little summary is I'm an investigative photojournalist. I cover missing people. I specialize in prehistoric and modern day predator behaviorisms. I also cover strange animal sightings that lead over in to the infamous or nefarious Dogman topic. Yet, if you find some other aspects of this type of research, check out Camp Nightmare Fuel. Are we ready for our second story of the night? We have 1991, 11 p.m., Litchfield. Yeah, again, another pretty remote area for sure. Martha Stevens David, a local Mainer, is suddenly woken up from a deep sleep by the sounds of scratching and heavy breathing at her partially open bedroom window, chalking it off as wind or exhaustion. Martha tries to fall back to sleep, yet now she realizes something with what seems to be articulated hands is playing with the curtains. This installs some deep terror into Martha, who immediately sits up in bed, rolls over, and wakes up her sidekick. Leo is shaken awake to his completely freaking out wife, trying to explain to Leo in a calm mannerism what had just been going on. Leo chuckles and thinks his wife has just had some sort of nightmare. Yet, soon to his horror, he begins to hear the heavy breathing and seemingly something trying to play with the curtains. He also begins to hear the scratching at the window and also sees the curtains swaying back and forth as if something is playing with it. This is when the couple realized this heavy breathing sounded very animalistic, as if something had been running for a very long time and had just gotten a chance to re-catch its breath. It sounded big and evil. Quickly getting up out of bed, this seemed to startle the strange beast that had been playing around with the curtains. As soon as Leo and Martha approached the curtains, they could hear something bipedally bolting off towards the forest with the heavy breathing. Yes, pretty terrifying stuff, huh? You're sitting here sleeping in the middle of the night, passed out, thinking, hey, I just have my window cracked, not even halfway. What's the issue? Well, what the issue is, something seemingly that they did not recognize by its breathing and its mannerisms was trying to get in or potentially torment them through the window. This window was at least 8 feet off the ground. Sure, wolves and things can get on their back legs, as can bears. Yeah, I don't know if they would be able to really articulate those paws and those claws to be able to seemingly be messing around with the curtains. This couple said it definitely looked like something had hands as it was playing around. So gnarly. This again was in a pretty remote area. This couple doesn't have many neighbors, which leads them and myself to believe something must have been occurring out here on this remote property. The previous story, as I stated, Allagash is in the middle of nowhere. It's a pretty interesting area that has a ton of wildlife and a ton of forest. Wherever there's forest and seclusion, there's ways for things to stay away from people. There's also ways for people to go missing, unfortunately, which every year a lot of people don't realize you have 1,100 to 2,400 people just vanish within the United States. This doesn't include Alaska. That's a whole another nightmare. Yet only 5% of these people are ever found. This doesn't mean they're found in the state of you and I. This means you could find backpacks or, unfortunately, some darker things. What's occurring? Yeah, of course, you have some people that are just going to have misfortune, poor choices, they're just going to have injuries throughout nature. Some people are going to be dealing with actually known predators and natural predators. Other people are going to be running into psychotic individuals, meaning I encourage everyone. Unfortunately, if you enjoy spending time in the wilderness and being isolated in national parks, well, guess what? People that have nefarious thoughts also enjoy these areas. There are numerous documentaries, unfortunately, covering how people would study these really remote trails, but realize there were sparse amounts of people that would occasionally come through there, and then they would plan their ambush. Once you take all of those out of the equation, you still have many people that are vanishing in very strange mannerisms. It's super gnarly. There definitely has to be something else occurring. We know less about cave systems than we do outer space and the ocean, which we know pretty much minimal to nothing about either one of those. If we were able to get into the caves, look around, and explore, unfortunately, we are going to most likely, with a high probability, find people's backpacks and things that were belonging to missing people. How they got in there? Did they go in there by themselves? Did something like a cave hyena, a short faced cave bear take them? A giant baboon? Feral people? A dogman or Sasquatch? I really don't know. I just know these people are missing. We have strange sightings. We have super bizarre footprints that cannot be verified by specialists. We have howls. I don't really believe in things that are ironic or coincidence. Why would those all be in the area where people are missing, right? You put 1 plus 1 together, it equals 2. This is why when you crunch these numbers and the analytics and you realize all this, it's hard to ignore. Meaning, if people are paying attention, these things occur so often, seemingly almost every few weeks. With a quick little open of your Google app on your cell phone, you can see all the time people that are involved in missing cases in the forest. Recently, there was a woman and her elderly father that vanished up here in Maine for a while. They did find them and they figured out what was going on, unfortunately. Yes, it was some sad stuff. It's definitely a crazy world out there, my friends. As always, I love every single one of you. I will be seeing you very soon. I have a ton of stuff coming out. I made a bunch of new music you can check out. I do all my own art with my friends that do help out, like May Koo, yet we do all our own art. I do all my own visuals outside of that. I make all my own charts. I gather all my own data and research and evidence from individuals. I make all my own music. Sure, I might not still be the best, but I sing, I do my screaming, I remix everything in good old Apple Garage Band. It's awesome stuff. So thank you so much for sitting down and hanging out again and just having belief in myself, LordeStarfox, and Midnight Lycanthropy. I remember 13 months ago, I had 84 subs, right? And then I ended up sitting down with my youngest brother, some really great people, and decided, this would be my venture and something I could really be successful at. Now, fast forward 13 months, almost 13 and a half later, well, we're up into the 2000s, my friends. That's because of you folks, great people that are tuning in, sharing my stuff. I, again, love every single one of you. Stay safe out there. If you have questions, reach out to myself, reach out to the North American Dogman Project. Just in general, be aware when you go out there and stay extreme.
My creatures of the night, you legends, you. I do adore every single one of you. And thank you for hanging out tonight. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the truth to the algorithm, and remember, there are monsters lurking in the madness.